So it's one of those days where you sit and reflect a little bit on it and try and take stock a little bit of your life and where you're at and what is transpiring. And today that's because tomorrow my baby boy, my son, turns 2. And that these are big milestones. And when I stop and I think about why I do things like this and what this is for. What's the purpose of this? What am I trying to achieve? Not necessarily in terms of a business, in terms of content, in terms of this, but in terms of who I am. And especially like milestones like this for my son are big ones because my boy was born 8 weeks early. He was born at 30 weeks. He was a tiny baby. And we went through 6+ months of hell. Like, for 6 months, my wife lived in the hospital with our son. And I was basically a single dad. And in that time, we moved house. I did that by myself. I continued to run a business. I continued to do those things, and I did that all by myself. And while our son was 2+ hours away in the hospital during COVID, when we could only have one parent in the room at a time, I couldn't take our daughter to go see him. Anyway, this is not a sob story. This is not a focusing on that. It was a tumultuous time. Tomorrow, my baby boy turns 2 in a thing that we weren't sure he was going to reach that point. He's happy. He's healthy. Beyond that, he's thriving and exceeding expectations. And it's things like this when you take stock of your life and what you're wanting for it. And it's things like this when I know I am truly blessed with that I also look internally and go, I have more to give. I demand more of myself because I have been blessed beyond all measure. And in return, I need to bless all those who are in my life. And that includes my son. I need to lead by example. I need to be a man that he can aspire to be, that sets the example for who he should be. They talk about with kids, you're your daughter's first love and you're your son's first hero. And especially during that time and reflecting on that, that time now, I am not living out my best, hero's journey. I am not being the hero of my journey yet. Emphasis on yet. But I look at that boy and all he has overcome before he even knows that he's overcome anything. And I think to myself, how can I not step up? How can I not set the highest possible standard for myself to show him what is possible? I look at him and, his beautiful nature and everything that he's already overcome. And I know he can achieve anything. But when I tell him that, I want him to believe it. And I don't want him to get to a point and go, well, Daddy, you didn't. You didn't chase your dreams. You didn't do the things. You didn't step into the man you know you should be. You didn't live your life that way. I don't ever want to have that conversation. And so as we step forward into his birthday, there are a few things. One, I am, day 47, 48, 47 into this. There's going to be cake there. There's going to be things that are not within my scope of meat, fruit, raw dairy, honey, sweet potato. 100% going to be things that don't fall under that. And I will not be partaking. Thankfully, my wife loves me, and she'll be putting out things like, salamis and, raw cheese and things like that. So I can still eat more for being a part of the festivities than anything else. But I'm choosing the things that matter most to me. My son doesn't care if I participate in eating cake. He doesn't care. He wants me to be there, and I'll be there, and I'm going to spend the whole day with him. I'm going to take him out in the morning with his sister, so the kids are out of the house for my wife to prepare for the party. I'm going to spend all day with him. And that is more of the thing. But my work will still get done. It's this balancing thing that I find fascinating. Because a lot of people are like, I don't have time. I'm like, you do. You just make choices. And my choices are that tomorrow is all about my son. It's all about making him feel special and loved, even more so than he is normally, because that kid is loved. But on the flip side, I still have shit to do. So I'll get up early and I'll work out. And probably late at night, I will go do a walk. Because shit has to get done still. And that's just the bottom line. And, but as I said, it's about realizing the significance of it. So these days don't make me go, oh, I wish I could eat cake. Or I wish I could, just give in and do these things. No, it makes me double down. It makes me go harder. It makes me realize how important doing this work is. Because it is. It is, massively important. Don't know what I was going for then. But, I need to do this for my son as he has more and more and he comes into more and more consciousness. I want him to realize who daddy is and be proud of the man daddy is. And the more I go down this path, look, yes, I'm hoping that it'll be, not even hoping, I'm knowing it's going to be generational wealth and shifting that ideology. But it's not about that. It's about the man that I am. A man who keeps his word, a man who embodies discipline and fortitude and focus and doing the things he said he would. About, living a life of purpose and fulfilled in that life. It's about those kinds of things over just making money. And I think that's a really important thing. And I do firmly believe, and though I know it's not for everyone, but at the same point, I think everyone should have children. You never truly understand the meaning of your life until you have kids. And on the flip side of that, I look at, there are some parents and I was like, you were just not meant for this shit. And that's okay because, parenting is fucking hard. It is a really, really hard thing to do. But I think more and more, especially as a man, when you become a parent, you realize that most of this life isn't about you. It isn't for you. It's about providing for others. And oddly enough, that is deeply, deeply fulfilling. To spend your life in pursuit of things to provide for others. Whether that be by example, by providing financial means, by providing a loving, caring house, by providing everything they ever needed, by providing lessons. It's a fulfilling life. And I always knew I wanted to be a father from a very, very young age, especially for a man. And it is deeply fulfilling. There is nothing more satisfying and fulfilling and joyful in my life than my children. Does that not mean there are moments when I lose my shit? Absolutely. But overall, I sit there and go, wow, how blessed am I? And then, the other one it makes me think of, and I need to read it because I can't remember verbatim. It came from Ed Milet in a video I was watching. And it says, you are a transitional character. A transitional character is the person in a single generation who breaks the mold, breaks the curse, filters the destructiveness out of their own lineage, so that generations downstream will be a constructive foundation to build their life from. I am the one in my family that does this. And that hit home. That hit home more than anything. As I said, there is something about being a father and being able to provide. Yeah, I am that one. I am the one who breaks the generational curses. I am the one who is building generational wealth, who is creating a foundation that means my children will have the most solid and built foundation to launch their life from. Does that mean they'll be given everything their little hearts desire? No. I'm not building trust fund babies, but I am going to build a life and a situation that means they can have everything they need to build the life that they want and desire. And as I said, there is something profoundly fulfilling about knowing that, about carrying that purpose in your heart, because that is my purpose. My purpose is my family. Cut and dry. Every time I don't want to do something, every time I feel like taking a day off, every time I feel like, do I really want to push that hard? I think of them. I find another level because of them. I think of the beautiful smile of my little lady, of that cheeky laugh of my son, of the way my wife lights up my world. I think of those things and I'm like, no, you have so much more to give. You have so much more to do. There is more to be done. And you must continue forward. You must continue doing this work. That is my purpose. My challenge is to figure out that generational wealth. There are smaller challenges within that, but that is the final, ultimate goal. How to create generational wealth to change the lives of every single person in my family. That is where I'm at with that. And I go to war with the mediocrity that is within me, that bitch voice, that call to average that comes up every single day that tries to hold me back and stop me from doing the work that has to be done for this. Because I am going to be that transitional character. And I've known this. And look, we're probably getting into the esoterics and the woo-woos of the world, but I have known this for a long time. And they talk about a calling, and I've been called to change lives. And I have known for a long, long time. And within reason, I've known where I've been heading since I was 15, so 17 years. Most people are just figuring it out. I knew I was going to start with basketball. I was going to transition into business. I was going to do it around fitness. I knew that I was going to be a father. And I knew I was going to be the one that created generational wealth. Granted, I got sidetracked the shit out of myself. I got drawn into a shadow career because resistance won, and it blinded me. But it also built the man who was ready for this, because let's be real here, nobody takes life coaching advice, for lack of a better fucking term, from a 21-year-old, which is where I began in business. And so they shouldn't. I had no fucking idea. I was great at fitness. I'm even fucking better now. The depth of knowledge and the depth of topics that I can cover in fitness now is astronomically greater than what I was when I was 21. I found some of the programs I used to write. And I was like, Jesus, these are bad. And yet on the flip side, they were still good. They still fucking worked. But I had to go through that shadow career. I had to go through wearing that mask for a long time for it to break me, to realize that I was not that man. A man who just pursues money for the sake of money. That's not how you do it. I am now a man pursuing passion. And what lights me up, I'm pursuing my calling, because the universe kept knocking. It kept calling at me and I kept ignoring it. And it wasn't until it fully knocked me over the head and was like, wake the fuck up. It is time to go. And I am now ready. And I am chasing that and I'm pursuing that. And as I said at the start, it doesn't matter if nothing ever eventuates from this. If all this ever is me building my character, then I will have lived a good and true fulfilled life. And I am okay with that. But I don't think that's all it is. I know myself, I know my work ethic, and just watching what's happened as I've transitioned into who I truly am, how things just effortlessly flow, I know I'm already on the right path. I know I'm in abundant alignment with my universe, and it's just everything is falling into place. Because when you authentically step into you, everything does work. There was a great Gary Brecker one, and he was talking about the highest vibration isn't love, isn't gratitude, isn't joy. It is authenticity. When you vibrate at, and they scientifically prove this, I don't know how, to be honest, I'm honest to read the study on that, but when you authentically and truly authentically live out your life at the highest level, there is nothing that can be done. You can't be done. Everything is within your grasp. All you have to do is do the work. And this is the misnomer with things like law of attraction and stuff like this. People think that, all you have to do is believe and be in a positive attitude. And to be honest, I was there for a while. No. You have to have those things. You have to be deeply satisfied and happy and living in a vibration of happiness, but also authenticity. And then taking action from an authentic place. Because it doesn't just fall in your lap. You are doing the things. And when you're authentically living out your life, the universe will prod you in the directions of things that allow you to take those steps forward, to step into the things that you know you are called to be and do. This is the point. This is where you gain all those things from. So it's why 126 to greatness, then tracing greatness, and then the Greatness Club is so important, because it's about, refining you as a man, authentically stepping into who you are, being the man that you know you should be, so that you can then live the best life, so that you can provide that optimal life for your family. It's about doing these things. And you cannot do it from the place that you are, as I spoke about the other day. You need to kill the old you. Because while you are holding on to that version of you, that person who, participates in sedation, who seeks out things that are just going to escapisms from the world, you are not going to make it. It requires you to kill that person, to step into your power and do the work. And there are days that it won't be easy. There are days that you won't feel like it. And then you tap into your purpose. That's why you need a purpose, a challenge, and a war. So that when those days arise, you can overcome them, because it's bigger than you. So as I look forward into my son's second birthday, and then what the next year of his life entails, I know that it entails his father becoming the man that he knows he should be. So that when he looks up at his daddy, he knows that that man can do anything. That he is leading by example, and then by instilling, because he will mirror me, he can do anything. He can be anything he wants. He can achieve anything he wants in this world. Because there's only one way to lead, and that is by example. And that is what I'm doing. That for my kids, for those around me, my family, my friends, those are people I lead in community, my clients. I want them to look at me and go, that is the example of how we should live our life, of how we should step through and do the things that need to be done. It's not always easy, but that zero choice mentality makes it much, much easier, because you don't even think about it. Do I participate in these things? No, I do not. And that's leading by example. That you don't have to even consider, because the decision was already made. You lead by example. And this is now the way of life. And yeah, I am sure that there will still be ups and downs along this path. I am sure there'll be moments that are harder than others. And days where I feel like maybe I don't want to keep doing this, but I do. Because that's the man I am. That is the greatness I'm pursuing. To leave behind a legacy of greatness. That I lived my life in the ethos of chasing greatness. And I don't know about you, but I cannot think of a more worthy way to spend a life than leading by example, chasing the greatness, and loving and providing for your family. I think that's a pretty great life to me. So I'll leave you with that. As I go to bed, I go downstairs to prepare and set up for my baby boy's second birthday. And we celebrate how far he's come, and I will reflect on how far I have to go, because it's not always just me inspiring him. Both my babies inspire me every single day with what they do and how they live their lives. And I need to keep showing up as a better and better man to allow them to continue to thrive like that. So that's all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll be back tomorrow. Until then.